All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game number 1 for the Olimoleague underway. This is the semifinals match. Bottom side of the bracket has a bit of an awkward situation going on with the ZVZs down there, but they'll eventually catch up at some point. I'm Rifkin casting with what is Fear Dragon today. Zombie is currently visiting her poor grandmama. I say poor, I don't know, she's going to be in amazing health. Probably can bench press more than I can. Anyways, in the top left, it is going to be the Red Protoss Seed.
And in the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg player, True.
Actually,
Gaming.
This is going to be an interesting thing to talk about Zombie Grub for a moment, more so than the game. Because knowing Zombie Grub the way you and I do you feel like it's more likely or less likely that if her family was good at something, she would follow in their footsteps to also be good in it? Like, I almost feel like for Zombie Grub, if it was specifically her mom, I would say yes. But if it was her grandma, her dad, or anything else, I would say no. She's got this, like, this kind of fuck you attitude sometimes, where it's like, oh, no, you're not strong? Fuck you, I'll be strong. And starts lifting up, like, every day.
No, I could see that, but at the same time, she also just has a super hyper-competitive attitude. So if someone was like, oh, yeah, I'm good at this, she's going to be like, I'm better at that. Right? And she would become better at it.
So it's a little bit interesting. She's only like that for a very small few things, I feel, too. She's not...
That's true.
Thank you, Poach, by the way, for the host. Shout out to any of his viewers tuning in. Thanks, guys, for joining us here for the semifinals of the Olimoleague. Now, one of the big things to talk about for True and Seed is True, I believe, got knocked out of the Do You Monthly Cup. I want to say for him to still be playing in this. There's a little bit more money over there, so I'd imagine if he had won, he'd still be playing. But regardless of that fact, ZVP is in a bit of a funny spot. These new maps have made this very, very apparent. But True, despite the fact that he's not been able to compete in WCS due to his ongoing, continual visa issues, has proven time in and time out to be one of the better Zerg players. I rather enjoy watching him play. And Seed, God, I love Seed. You know, I'm really glad, like, there's a couple of players I wanted to meet before I die type thing. We got to see Seed at Hell It's Boot Time. That's great. But Seed has not been showing a great performance in CVP. And it feels like he's only got about 2 builds up his sleeve, which is another big problem. Not that variety of builds many players show on the regular. So, I don't know. I'll be kind of curious to see how this actually goes. I am favoring True, though, going into it, without a doubt.
Yeah, if you have a player that doesn't really have a big variety of builds, that definitely plays out a lot worse when it's, you know, best of 5 or best of 7. Luckily for him, this is just going to be a best of 3, so he maybe can still make it work. But already losing that Adept, going for a Stargate opening, and it seems like True is going to be canceling the Spore. Okay, he was just making Spore Crawlers to save some of these drones, so not going to be making them just yet.
And I was going to give a correction. I said Ivanson with the resub. I guess, I don't know. Ivan is a pretty common name when it comes to names. Iveson. Just Iveson, no N. So my bad, big love. The name's still on the overlay.
I feel like Twitch needs like a pronunciation guides whenever you register an account.
Right? You should have to enter in the name phonetically.
Phonetically?
Or you have to like record something. I don't know. But anyways, the proxy gateway goes down. This is going to allow for some pretty nasty warp-ins. There's about 3 more gates going with this, so 4 in total with a Stargate. Can certainly get a little bit dicey, as everything Seed's revealed with his opener looks a little bit more along the sides of macro. I mean, especially with the Phoenix being the choice.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix Adept plays can actually be pretty scary for Zerg players to deal with when you start getting out a decent number of Phoenix to pick off Overlords, to clean up a lot of the Queens and everything and take them out of the fight, and then the Adepts are just cleaning up all the Zerglings on the ground, especially since you have to consider True's not dropping a Roach Warren or anything. He's going to be operating on pretty much just pure Zerglings. Oh, he's actually just still droning up right now. This is going to get really dicey for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of cool for Seed. I like that he's done... I hesitate to call it mind games, because it really isn't. It's more of like just a simple distraction more than anything else, while he sets up for a very dedicated attack down to the south. Now, if this is Prion Terraces, actually, I really favor this Adept all-in, and it's something that can be overwhelmingly dangerous, but I kind of feel like if Seed gets in and he gets damage done, oh, it's going to be so good. I mean, as you point out, he's still droning, and more droning, but if this doesn't get the damage done he initially intends, it's also not something he can so easily recover from.
Yeah, well, fourth Phoenix is going to be making its way over here. He can suddenly get very, very close to the point where he can start engaging against the Queens, especially if he has that Adept backup.
Yo, those Phoenix don't even need to get kills. If they just come in and crowd control, I mean, that's like the bare minimum requirement for effectiveness here. I don't like targeting the third. I think pressing the attack. Whoa!
Oh my god!
I didn't realize how many queens True had made. True normally goes pretty queen heavy, and I expected that much, but I guess maybe he had some inclination that it was going to be Phoenix, so he really wanted the anti-air. Funny enough, queens, they're slow, but they're not bad at fighting with the transfuses that they're going to have.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lings are a bit of a problem initially. They hold the adepts in place, but the queens, as we see, are focus firing down this. I can't... Is this
happening?
Like, you look at this and it almost looks like you've got trolling going on, but it's not. Like, this was actually a great move out of True, and it's, in this case, working fantastically. Funny enough, like, I feel like... Seed's not made a terrible choice in this game. He distracted, he attacked, but I mean, True is expecting... I don't know if he was expecting this, but this, for Seed, certainly was unexpected.
Well, maybe going after the third might actually work out for the better then, just because engaging directly against these queens may be hard.
It's still an all-in. Like, there's no third base on the way. There's no plus weapons. I mean, Resonating Glaives is like the closest thing to tech.
He's doing a pretty good job supply blocking him. He's getting so many overlords over here, just ignoring the Spore Crawlers.
I guess,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, the queens are supposed to be the anti-air. They're busy focused on these adepts, so kind of losing sight of their true purpose.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's okay that they aren't really going after the adepts.
That Phoenix got focused out so quickly.
Oh my god.
How many queens? Okay, it's 10 queens. Each queen, this will be easy math, right? Shoots the air for 9 damage. That's 90 damage a volley. Yeah, that's gonna like
7 overlords.
I mean, he has to make 7 overlords. This is insane that this is going the way it is.
Them too.
Well, maybe he'll lose them. Queens have finally made up to the high ground. The adepts are finally getting to the drones that they wanted to earlier. Continue to warp in more units to the south. I almost wonder, like, I'm questioning if Zealots might be better in this situation. Adepts have decent damage, but they just can't tear through queens.
Here's kind of the weird thing. We were talking about how this was a big all-in coming out from Seed, and I still think he's kind of committed to getting more damage done.
It's categorized as,
but he's taking the third, and he's like got enough foot and overcharge to deal with this. I think it's like, oh, I guess I supply blocked you long enough that maybe I can actually transition out.
This is all types of weird for me, Fear Dragon. The queens are moving across the map. They're no longer trying to defend. And the thing is, True, he gets these links to the natural. There may have been overcharge just for the third, but I guess Seed had forgotten about this location. So even with the overcharge going down, he doesn't have a way to stop the links from coming through. Gateways were coming down in the main, and I mean, he was setting up nicely for a follow-up. He really wasn't expecting this attack out of True, and True, well, he's got the skills to pay the bills, we'll say that much. But C continues the attack on the other side of the map. He doesn't warp in any of these adepts defensively. He warps them all aggressively. He's actually going to kill the Spine Crawlers. If he kills the Spine Crawlers, I mean, this probe, is this the Legacy of the Cinematic, Legacy of the Void Cinematic probe? It's right here on the front lines.
Some Zergos in the main base right now for Seed actually depowered 3 of the warp gates. That's half of his production that he was hoping to get up.
Fear Dragon, we technically never saw whether that probe lived or died in the cinematic. This could be that same probe.
Oh my god, this is getting so weird. But okay, Adepts and Phoenix, like in this low number, cannot do a base trade against this, right? Like the Queens. Look at the Queens will win this.
The Queens should win this. And not because they have amazing damage, but because nothing can kill them. There's so many transfuses. Just look at this. This is so stupid. I can't believe this.
Oh, you're getting to zombie grub levels of like high-pitched voice and random words.
This silly trolling aside for just a moment, like, this is something that is actually working. And that's what's very important to the game. Queen's gonna kill so many probes trying to run away. Oh my god.
He warped in a sentry. Where is he warping in this? Okay, he's warped in the sentry in his main base. Is he just gonna try and hold the ramp and go for like a quasi base trade?
He knows, like, so he tore down the third, and he might be thinking, great, I'm a little bit ahead, but he knows that he's gonna be like, at best he cuts off the queens a little bit by little bit because they're slow, but there's gonna be so many lings dancing around this. I cannot see Seed winning this game. I really just cannot see Seed winning this game.
This looks like one of the games where I do this, except I'm getting a Dark Shrine behind it, and I'm just like, well, if I force field my ramp, they never make it up, and I get DTs into every single one of their bases, kill off any Spore Crawlers. Maybe I can win, but I don't know, man. This is not a Dark Shrine, and there's not a lot of hope.
He is going to catch some of these queens, though. This is actually kind of big. Now,
Catch is a vague term for it.
Well,
a loose term.
Well, I mean, he literally catches it, but can he deal with the catch? I mean, this is like
Yeah.
you thought you were fishing it for a goldfish, but you caught a sturgeon instead. And it just ripped your fishing rod right into the water. Zealots, there we go, finally getting into the fight. I was talking about this earlier. They got a lot better damage versus the queens than the adepts will, but still, the problem remains where there's about 1 billion transfuses left. All these queens are still high energy and full energy in the back. I am at a loss for words. I don't know what to say about this. Hydras are coming up next. That's what we'll talk about. Hydras and a hell of a lot of legs to catch what little units there are in the middle of the map. Seed doesn't know it, but he is a dead man walking.
What's insane to me is, like, not only have there been a ridiculous number of queens made this game, but only 5 of them have gone down of, like... Okay, so now 6 of them have gone down of the 20. That's, like, barely even 20% or 25% of them.
I didn't even realize so few queens had died. Income advantage,
it's
by the way.
Earlier aggression.
Income advantage is still blue. It's all true.
Okay.
He's pulling the probes. It's going to be
boys.
all in, baby. You know what? These things are going to run by and be like, oh, I'll win the game. By catching all the probes, you won't be mining anymore. And True's gonna be like, nope. Not if I have anything to say about it.
Crew spread, he knows he's gonna actually get a full surround on these probes. I mean...
He lifts them up.
I guess?
Technically remove them from the fight.
Like, the awkward sport car is just like chilling, is like, what is going on here? Like,
Riders from Rohan arrive! Hold helms deep, men!
I'm impressed with how well Seed actually, like, started to kill off some of those little queens, but it does have to tap out. True.
I cannot get over, like, Seed did not have a bad strategy going into that. Like, I really want to emphasize that. And, frankly, who the fuck goes 13 queens? Like, if that was any other form, like, if that was actually Phoenix playing to a macro game with a third base, that would have been a terrible waste of money from True.
Like, if someone had just given me this replay and was like, guess who the players were? Like, they barcoded
out.
I would have been like, Scarlet is trolling because this is such like a Scarlet troll thing to do. Just go for like mass queen just because, like, mass queen. But like,
you know, she actually. You say trolling. She used to actually have a definitive ZVP strategy that involved Mass Queen Infestor.
No, it works. It wins games. I've seen her win games in, like, multiple matchups with, like, just ridiculous numbers of queens. But, like, it just feels so strange. It feels like a troll, but it works. Oh.
Well, we're waiting on the next map, so will be a moment there. We're going to pop off to a small break while we wait, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with Game 2 of Seed versus True when we return. Thank you, by the way, Sleepy Cod, Istaro, Nick is Lost, and anyone else we've missed on that resub shout-out. No new subs yet today, but plenty of resubs for certain. We'll see you guys soon. Alright, we're back for game number 2, and if you're just joining us, you missed too good of a game 1. But spawning here in the top right side of Dusk Towers, we've got the Blue Zerg players. Storm Gaming is True. Oh wait, where's the camera? Hang on. There we go. Swivel!
Production. And in the bottom left, we have the red Protoss player who almost looked okay in that last game, Seed.
So, some comments in chat being made, like, you know, True's been trolling for a while. He's on Proxy Hatcheries and Pro League and stuff, but I mean, it was his Proxy Hatcheries versus Stork that made Stork tilt out of games. I mean, you could call it trolling all you'd like, but True's actually had weirder tactics. But he's not the first person we've seen do Mass Queen. We made jokes and sort of references to people like Scarlet. We've seen Snoot go Queen Heavy before as well. It's actually really not a terrible choice. As much as I want to make fun of it, it's just it's seen so rarely and it looks so ridiculous, and not often does it work, but when it does, it makes me squeal and go, oh, stupid.
Well, we are going to be seeing a map that I would say normally... Oh, God. Okay, well... sorry, this is... Have you ever actually had, like, a situation where you have Game Heart up, and you know how, like, the Game Heart overlay, if you have, like, Control-Shift-O pressed, you can see, like, the top bar that says, like, who your vision is on and everything. It shows, like, the timer, and it also shows, like, a replay timer.
Yeah, this is the new UI, which is really dumb. The most recent one.
So if you click,
it
don't
shows the
do
map.
this.
Yeah, it shows the mini map.
So I did that, and I can't get rid of it now. So that's just there for the rest of the entire
just hit
game
Control
now.
Shift O again, dummy.
Oh!
God damn it, Fear Dragon. Welcome to casting.
I did an entire broadcast where like that has been the case, but let's talk about the fact that we actually have Seed kind of,
He's doing the
I guess,
same
like
thing.
trying to give a faux like natural expansion and just going for a proxy Stargate.
Yeah, he's going for this. It's essentially the same tactics as before, I'd imagine. I guess with the Proxy Stargate, you get the chance at the Oracle, but I don't know. If this is more emphasis on the Gateway getting, or sorry, excuse me, the Stargate getting damage and not the Gateway, because that was the case last time, I can see this going a little bit better for him. But the Oracle's going to have to work hard and just, you know, expect queens.
Expect queens. That's good advice, but
This
we
is
have
actually a really fast Overlord speed. Yeah.
I wonder if that's because he saw like the really fast Stalker coming out, so he's saying like, "Oh, I really want to make sure I get some scouting information off," or if this is just like what he had planned in general. If he's planning to maybe even go for like Nidus Worm, Overlord drop, something weird like that.
Plan to get caught all along. Man, how I checked the bracket by the way. I can't believe Sulky and Violet's still going on. Like Olivia.
Okay, like that
Violet.
I feel like that must have just not been reported, right? Like there's no way it's still going on.
They're in game 3.
What?
So here's the thing.
Wow.
Violet's a really good player, and Sulky's a very good but also weird player, and I can't imagine the way those games went, but for that to be going on so long is crazy to me.
Well, okay, Overlord from True comes on into the main base. He's going to scout out also the natural...
Hang on. Double Oracles is actually something we need to talk about, because this can focus down a Queen very quickly and then shred the remaining drones. One Oracle barely trades out for it, but instead of targeting the Queen, he's actually going to go for the drones and just double zap them down real quick. So just looking to get as many kills as possible. I mean, this is going to cost Seed one of his Oracles at this rate. He does try to micro back, but perhaps a little bit too late. He can still kill the Queen with the remaining Oracle, but this got him quite a few kills.
Yeah, Oracle still has a little bit of energy left over. He's going to be able to get every single drone over here before his energy runs out.
Yeah, 19.
Or her energy runs out.
19 workers killed, the Queen to go with it. This was an excellent start for him. Now, the problem is, this isn't going to get much else. Looks like the Lings are kind of wise to this. They're heading over to where the Stargate might be. They'll tear down the pylon, and there's no follow-up to this. So this was just a big dedication of not just the cost of the Oracles themselves, but also that Stargate. I kind of hope he actually keeps that Oracle alive, because at this point in the game, using it for Revelations is going to be strictly probably the best use of it. It doesn't have a lot of energy, so it doesn't do much.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how he tries to transition out of this. Now, he's getting up a robotic facility, getting up his own third expansion and everything, but it is one of those weird situations where I guess, like, because it's such a kind of strange thing to do, like, I don't think I've seen a double proxy one base Oracle, like, opening with a later natural expansion. Like, I'm not sure if True will have a good idea of, like, what Seed's economy looks like behind this.
Well, he's going to see these Banelings, and I don't know if he realizes this is an Overlord drop. Okay, he does. This is a pretty big detail, because now he's going to know he's going to have to pull probes away from this. Revelation, not enough energy to be cast, but the Oracle can just actually physically follow this through. He knows there's Banelings. If True kills workers, I mean, maybe he catches 1 or 2 probes on the slow reaction, right? But if he actually kills workers with this, he deserves to lose, I guess. See that it deserves to lose despite his early game damage. I mean, what might
but
catch
there's an Overlord on the top side too.
Right. What might catch him is tunnel vision and complacency. A mix of the two. Like, you forget about this temporarily, so you think, oh, this isn't a problem, and you move away from the main. Okay, great. You also didn't check for that second Overlord, so this natural base, which has no pylons, no mothership core, nothing to defend it, might actually get those kills we were looking for earlier. And that's what's going to happen for True. He does flow down in. See, does see this, then he pulls away immediately, running for his life. The Overlord's just a little bit too slow to connect to this. Other Overlord's also going to start moving in, so Seed's going to have to pull all over the place if he wants to stay alive. Third base now in a bit of trouble, but pulls probes out of there preemptively. Overcharge pops in the main. While this goes on, sets up for an attack. So, I mean, Seed is looking in 3 different locations right now. Front lines, back lines, and on both of these Overlords. Looks like he'll kill the 4th base pretty easily. Nice cancel out of True, but True's also heading back around 2 here in the main. Overcharge does pop, and looks like that Overlord's going to go down. Probes are pulled away, but they stop being pulled. Boom, boom, boom!
Oh, but at the same
4.
time, we have a force field going down the ramp over on True's side of the map,
this...
and there's nothing to defend this third. There's no way he's going to be able to get up enough roaches over here. Even the force field's going down, trapping in any larva that's about to pop out.
There's only 4 kills with those Overlord drops, too. Really just not worth it. Drone count, these force fields are funny to see. He's trying to preemptively catch whatever pops out of those eggs, but they are just kind of spawning.
2 more banelings going to the natural. 2 more banelings about to drop in.
It doesn't really matter. He's kind of losing the game on the other side of the map. I mean, force field on the ramp means that Lings will never be that big of a problem. Killing the third base is kind of huge, even if he takes probe losses en masse, which he hasn't so far, but he might now in the main. This one's actually worth talking about. 10 probes go down with that first one, 14 to follow it up.
Oh, that's a regular move! Oh my god!
Okay, so not an A move in the main, but a regular move in the main. Costs him a couple of his sentries. Force field's going to let him retreat out of this. A corrosive bile will open this, but there's more force fields where that came from. Warp Prism in range of this gets a little bit awkward as he never actually killed this third, worth noting. He harassed really well, but he never straight up killed it. More force fields coming down, more sentries warped in. Of course, these can get broken with corrosive biles, which requires more force fields.
Oh my god, the relentless force fielding
is
causing a lot
good.
of problems, but I think there's enough that's gotten to the low ground.
He had to pick up some of those sentries due to the drones getting pulled on top of them. This ends up not working so hot for Seed. Now, it's worth noting there's a considerable amount of probes still left after those bailing drops, after those bailing bombs went off. So this isn't so bad for Seed. His money's there, his immortals are on the way, his tech is fine. But he didn't cause nearly enough damage to True. I mean, credit to True for the good defense, but also mistakes made out of Seed. You caught the move command before I did, but I also note that the third base never got focused down, so I mean, just all these things adding up for Seed meant less and less return on this attack.
Yeah,
actually,
well,
this
Warp Prism
+1 is actually really problematic.
Yeah, it's going to be like really adding into the DPS for True, but I like the fact that this Warp Prism is just keeping True at home because True's trying to pump out as many units as possible, but as this game goes on, that's going to give Seed more and more opportunities to get up tech units that'll allow him to defend that third expansion against like a big counterattack aggression. True's finally starting to drone up a little bit, but you can already see like he's taking a lot of worker damage already.
Yeah. This is actually... Yeah, where's that income graph at? It was a little bit topsy-turvy. I mean, we see where the Banelings hit precisely on that graph. We now see where Seed was able to return that damage. His income's growing better and better than his opponent. He's not killing massive amounts of things with this Warp Prism, but sniping off drones here and there, denying some mining, is certainly annoying. Back at home, though, the SimCity's a little bit awkward to look at, but it's there. I am questioning the choice for Disruptors this early, though. I kind of feel like Mass Immortals is going to be the way to go, but Disruptors are... it's hard to say that they're ever that bad. All you need is like that one great Disruptor hit, and you have the best day of your life.
I don't actually hate the Disruptor choice either that much, just because, you know, Immortals are good versus Ravagers in terms of tanking damage, but they don't deal that extra damage versus Ravagers since they are no longer armored. So
no, but
Disruptors...
I mean, it's the same dynamic versus Hydras. The Immortals have 500 health, essentially, and that's what matters the most. We do have a very important bracket update, though. Finally, that insane, like, 2-hour-long best of 3's over, and Violet ends up defeating Sulky 2-1. This is impressive for Violet, but more so impressive because Sulky has been, like, the Olimoleague hometown hero for so long. It's been dethroned, as Olivia puts it in chat, and that's absolutely accurate. Hopefully Seed's not too busy on the other side of the map, because we do have round 2 of the Banelings coming in, and, you know, with the mineral patches being much lower, probes are stacked more. Natural base.
Natural
God.
expansion.
Oh,
he's
God.
not blowing anything there.
Okay.
Oh, a lot of these workers were also low in health. Oh, he's going to the third. Does Seed actually realize that it's not an empty Overlord anymore?
I think so. I mean, well, it also looks very different than the initial ones, too. But the probes killed at this point aren't really that devastating. 53 workers for 3 bases is already plenty enough of regular saturation. Plus, as mentioned, the mineral patches are getting lower, so you don't actually need this many workers. And Seed, if not thinking about a fourth, is gearing up towards an all-in, question mark. The Oracle is actually not bad for damage, so the way he's using it to zap down the Ravagers is not a terrible idea. I would have loved to have seen him cast Revelation, though, because I think keeping eyes on this army would have been very important as well. He actually kills 3 Ravagers with this Oracle, so 20 kills on this bad girl. You know, several from the drones earlier, that Queen, getting a little bit savage as he crows some biles near his own base. Revelations and disengages, not a bad move out of Seed.
What a badass Oracle. The Warp Prism is also going to come in, and I just love how aggressive Seed has been with like the small little forms of pressure that he can put on.
Right, he's finally realizing there's going to be mutas, though, and this is where he has to start sweating. Because of his choice to go for Disruptors, he doesn't really have a ton of anti-air back at home.
Oh no, the Oracle! 24 kills.
The Oracle actually going down is bad, more so just because of that Revelation and Scouting now being stripped away. Stalkers, by the way, do have Blink, and massive amounts of Stalkers aren't too bad versus the mutas, but they don't have weapon upgrades. It's +2 and +3 Stalkers that are truly scary. +1 is kind of so-so. Lings are going to come in
Disruptor shots.
They don't really get great hits. They're looking for the Ravagers. They do take out the Ravagers. Stalkers blink to the side, but Lings are still good versus these Stalkers. I mentioned that +1 earlier. No armor upgrades whatsoever on the Stalkers. This is starting to fall apart for Seed, who was in a good spot just moments ago, but in one harsh instance, we also had the Banelings return to the third base mineral line, so drones went down. Or probes went down, excuse me.
Ooh. That's pretty rough loss. And with all the Stalkers getting cleaned up, there are a decent chunk of Beetles still left over. Sure, they're a little bit damaged and a little bit weathered, but they can repair that or they'll heal that pretty quickly. Stalker count going to be the pure warp-in right now over here for C, but that does mean he has a hard time teching up behind this.
He can't contest the Lings, which has proven to be the biggest problem through this. Not the Ravagers and not the Mutas. Just the constant Ling floods. Really getting on top of these Stalkers has been fantastic. There's not that many here on the front lines, but there's still a lot of Mutas, and he can't engage both the Lings and Mutas. Same problems as before. Guardian Shield would actually help out a ton, but he's not using it.
He doesn't have enough energy for it.
Yeah, he burned those 2 force fields. Very unfortunate to see. That's going to be where he dies. That's where the series is going to end, and True will win with 2-0 over Seed. That did look like for a very long time, though, that was going to possibly be the 1-1 ace match. But thank you, Bob Convolute, by the way, hitting us up with a 26-month resub. Foonly hitting us up with an 18-month resub. Nick has lost. Again, I think it's safe to say Saturdays with the Olimoleague are where we get most of our resub action going on. And thank you guys all for being awesome. Now, we did tell Olivia the other series could go ahead and start. Violet versus Horror, that is. I expect that one will be a little bit faster because Horror does play a little bit more on the side of all-ins. Bailings and Roaches were his flavor for like 3 months straight, so we'll see how that goes. There is going to be some downtime, however. Even if we wait for Game 2, which we're going to, it's still Game 1 has to play out before we even have that option. So we're going to play some ads. When we come back, we'll talk about some stuff, so don't go anywhere. And we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Quick shout-outs one more time. I said this at the start of the stream, but not a lot of people were here. There's a Reddit thread up. I know you're not supposed to directly link Reddit threads, but I also don't care about upvotes, so I'm going to do it. And it's just a link to the playlist from any of the matches you may have missed last night. Not everybody's a Twitch subscriber, so not everybody can see our past VODs. But Nice Username had the videos up on YouTube within hours of them being cast, and they're public and free to see on YouTube with high quality and all that good stuff. So I'll put a link in chat, and you guys can check that out. But yeah, ads, and then we'll just shoot the shit until we got a game. So see you guys in a few minutes.